Now, let's get a review of yesterday's activities at the NSC, and Temple Ashaje will be doing that for us. Good morning, Temple. Over to you.
Good morning, BC. Well, if there's no interest in FX space, equity actually has some interest for investors who are wondering where you have some opportunity at this point in time. Because consider the fact that yesterday we had an auction, and of course the day before we also had an auction, bond auction. Of course, the bond auction, we saw a reduction of some 12 basis points in the rates. That's not too interesting or impressive for a lot of the dealers that participated at that auction. The the DMO even ended up not actually offering or selling all of what they actually offered to investors. So folks are beginning to come back to the equity space, and that's what is fueling the whole of the interest that we're seeing in recent times. If you check in the last 3 months in this market, in the capital market financial space at large, we've been seeing a whopping interest, whopping transactions, level of volume of transaction in the market, in the equity space. And this has continued in spite of the fact that some of the tier 1 banks that actually offered to pay some dividends to investors have actually are beginning to do that. Some of them have been paying the dividends given the qualification date and of course the payment date that we're beginning to see. And of course they're scheduled for the later part of the month. So yesterday generally we saw 106 billion naira contribution to the equity capitalization. Now it's hovering. It looks like something that will actually touch the 14 trillion naira mark if the whole momentum that we're seeing in recent time continues without, that's barring any form of unimpressive news that may hit the market or hit the economy at large. Because again, you know that recently the CBN reduced the MPR, lowered it by 100 basis points from 12.5% to 11.5%. So folks have returned to the stock market, beginning to pick the low valuations that we have there. And that's why we saw a whole lot of bargain hunting in the market yesterday. But if you look at the volume of transaction, this would have been green, but it was red yesterday. It tells you that a whole lot of activity in the space. It was down by 13%. And of course, the value of transaction was down by 38%. Now we have crossed the 3 billion naira that we regularly do on the average and daily basis, and it looks like eventually we will be doing some 4 billion naira in the market. Look at the volume of transaction, which is down by 13%, and we had just 359 million units of shares done. 72 million units of Sterling Bank shares were actually traded for 83 million naira yesterday, and that was the most actively traded stock in the market. Let's look at the sectoral performance. Told you, banking stocks positive 1.59% in the market, and of course these are the major picks for every smart investors that you have in the market. EcoBank was up by more than 2%, 2.5% specifically. Access Bank, 3.97%. Zenith Bank, 0.59%. GT Bank, some 1.96%. And of course, your wonderful FBN Holdings was up 1% again yesterday. Haven't seen some bargain or sell the, or rather profit taking a few days ago, and it dropped lower than 5 naira, but it's way back up now, more than 5 naira in the market. All of these counters that you have under the banking stocks yesterday were positive. Consumer goods side of the market, positive as well. Nigerian breweries, which led 25 other companies yesterday, was up 10%. Flour mills was up by more than 6%. You also have a lot of the stocks that you have here were positive yesterday. Industrial goods side of the market, Dangote woke up, was up by 89 basis points after, of course, we had some top executives of the company saying that, look, we know what we are doing. We've actually structured our debts very, very well. We've hedged ahead, and telling you that they have actually been paying dividends all along, and this is something that they hope to sustain in spite of the COVID-19 impact, which has been hitting the energy costs and, of course, through the whole FX challenges. WAPCO was also positive yesterday. Insurance space, we saw profit taking. Oil and gas, we saw profit taking in spite of the fact that we got some gains. Adova was up by more than 1% yesterday. Adova was actually down the most yesterday, led 6 other stocks to go downwards, and of course 11 PLC was up 1%. Then you have a bigger bargain hunting, 45 basis points on O&O yesterday, and some sell down after Etana PLC touched more than 2 naira 50 something kobo in the market. We have Jamil Mohammed joining us now. He is the stockbroker with APT Securities and Fund. Jamil, I know you know why we actually we saw the bullish sentiment we had in the markets yesterday. Tell us why, and of course, how sustainable is that?
Okay, thank you very much, Tempo Ashaji. It's a pleasure being here on the program. What actually happened in the market is just because of the release, the adjustment in the MPR rate by the MPC meeting, which was held Monday and Tuesday this week. And you can see that this bullish run has been there since the beginning of the week. And what this implication means is that whenever there is whenever the government is lowering the MPR rate, what it means is that they are reducing the national propensity to save. So people tend to lose their savings, move their money from saving to investment. So in a situation whereby you have lower interest rate in money market, what people go to is the capital market. As it is now, you can see now as we have the inflation at around 13%, 13.22%. If you continue to save your money at the rate available in the money market, you are losing. It's only the capital market that can be able to give you that return. So that is why you see people moving from the money market. They are now rushing to capital market where they can be able to get inflation adjusted rate of return. That is why you see that bullish run in the market recently.
So, Jami, we know that the impetus that we got now actually came from the monetary authorities. What kind of supporting policies will you be expecting from the fiscal authorities to help investors concentrate better without fear in the stock markets?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Those things that we expect the authorities to do is for example, we want CBN to continue to be creating liquidity around FX markets so that they can allow more participation of foreign investors in our market. When there is foreign exchange bottleneck, you will see that those foreign investors won't be able to come into and invest into Nigerian market. That is one. Two, we also want to encourage the federal government to continue to free up their market to allow free market for the demand and supply. Let them continue to stop all these subsidy for fuel, subsidy for electricity, so that the private business can thrive in our market. And if they thrive in our market, the federal government is expected to tell them to come and live in our market so that our market is more deepened than what we have today. So that we'll have a lot of investment instruments in the market that a lot of people can invest in. So we expect the federal government to continue in this manner which they are going. So those are the things that we expect the market to continue. The federal government to continue to do.
All right, Jami Mohammed. All right, thank you so much. Thanks for your analysis. Appreciated right here on Channels Television Business Morning. Jami Mohammed is a stockbroker with APT Securities and Fund. This is back to you.